Go.
Okay, good evening and welcome to my SPEED200 class presentation. Today, my speech is going to be titled, Why Video Games Are Not Inherently Bad for You. So, if my audience could please make yourself known.
Hello. Hola.
Hello! Okay, so let's get started. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a little question. Have you ever played the game Unboxing? Or Animal Crossing? Or perhaps a little bit to the left? Well, in case you didn't know, these are all video games that received numerous awards ever since their release, primarily for providing a calm, zen-like atmosphere for the player. Their colorful designs complement their core gameplay, again, known for its peacefulness. These emotions, however, are only some of the many that people experience when playing a video game. In fact, gamers can develop a slew of positive effects granted through playing their favorite games, such as increased social skills, emotional regulation, and accessibility to exercise. It's well known that in this house, all three kids are pretty prolific gamers, with all of us playing games that differ from each other. Knowing this, it's important to note that, ultimately, no matter what game we happen to be busying ourselves with, these positive effects are still present in one way or another. I, for example, can stay connected to Yasmin through joining her party on Overwatch 2. Brian can practice games he's done in Skate 3 on his own skateboard, and Sebastian can develop his quick time decision making through a quick game of Rainbow Six Siege. Despite all these games being remarkably different from each other, we can all experience at least one of the benefits I listed before. So with that being said, I'll be addressing 3 points today. First, why video games have received their negative reputation. Second, how to implement video games into your lives to experience their benefits firsthand. And lastly, experiencing the true positive nature of gaming after exposure. So, to begin, it's important to recognize the common reasoning behind video games' negative reputation. Within my introduction, I named a few positive effects that video games can provide, but let's face it, you might not be convinced on them, and to be fair, I can see why. Presented by GCFS Chicago, researchers have shown that gamers who played Street Fighter were more likely to assume a word with blanks referenced an aggressive word rather than a passive one. For example, thinking that M blank ER means murder instead of mother. However, this can very closely be attributed to the innate competitive nature of the video game. For example, how many times have I wanted to throw a remote at the TV for playing Mario Kart? It's rather a cartoonish game, but because of its innate competitive nature, it makes me feel more fired up and therefore more aggressive. This means that the competitive nature of the game can attribute more to the aggression we feel after playing it rather than the violent or aggressive nature that is shown in the game. With these findings laid out, it's crucial to attack these beliefs at the source. Video games have arguably always been, or intended to be, social. For example, there's Call of Duty, there's Uno Online, there's Monopoly Online, and so on and so forth. Based on the Games for Health journal, they're also known for providing a fantasy escape for players when they need it, like The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. These games are known for creating a stimulating atmosphere because after a long, stressful day at work or maybe school, it really is relieving to come back home and fire up your Legend of Zelda game to take in the beautiful graphics. And that's one of the important parts. Maybe just the graphics of the game can really provide that zen atmosphere for you, because maybe you don't need a super fast-paced game to have that. With that being said, it's important to discuss the problems we mentioned before and how to avoid them. If you happen to come back home after a really stressful day but aren't sure how to feel better, I have a proposal for you. Instead of laying on the couch and watching as the bad mood consumes your body in your daily viewing of Blue Buds or Chicago Med, open your phone and browse the App Store. Perhaps a few minutes of Candy Crush wouldn't hurt. According to the Cleveland Clinic, this is true. Even a simple game such as Candy Crush helps improve the brain's ability to strategize through challenging it in levels that become increasingly more difficult. Better yet, once these harder levels are completed, you'll feel a sense of achievement, resulting in the positive stimulation I mentioned before. Now, maybe you're not in the mood for a seemingly trivial game of Candy Crush, and in that case, perhaps you can play a social game with someone else or even me instead. Party game, or Party Animals, is a good way to combine fun with competitiveness, and it also has a very cartoonish, goofy nature that makes it really welcoming for a family to play. It's a great way of bringing back that nostalgia from Mario Kart or Wii Sports, which neither we can play anymore because we don't have the console for it, but I digress. The feeling of community while playing video games is a great way to just relieve stress after a hard day, or even just to develop stronger relationships with those around you, according to a blog post written by Dr. Elizabeth Scott. And in case you're not fully convinced, I'll further explain the advantages of playing games, even for just 20 minutes of the day. Imagine this. This family could be even more connected if we all took the time to play a game together, no matter how complex it is by nature. Just one game of, for example, Just Dance could lift anybody's mood. And not just that. It's reported by Kristen Nunez of Healthline that just 30 minutes of Just Dance can improve cardiovascular health, endurance, and blood flow. The game is also well known for increasing the will to exercise, which brings me back to the accessibility of exercise that I mentioned before. Being able to exercise while also having a lot of fun dancing to one of your favorite songs is probably one of the best ways to exercise. And again, it also brings the family together. So what more can you need? And on the topic of Just Dance, there's one last point that I wish to bring up regarding the niche interest of rhythm gaming, researched by the STL Rock School. Mobile rhythm games have also proven to be great ways in training hand-to-eye coordination and finger dexterity. There have been real-world instrument musicians that have said that playing rhythm games has helped them remember note positions and also how to create the note sounds. So I hope that the speech was able to showcase the healthy side of gaming and that you'll invest some time into playing some. The speech is getting lengthy, so we have to wrap it up. So, video games can provide a numerous amount of benefits, such as improved communication skills, ability to control and access emotions, and availability to exercise. These benefits are at risk of being overshadowed due to the negative reputation of the medium, so I truly implore you to try them out and experience them firsthand. After the incredibly long spiel, maybe you can de-stress after playing a video game yourself. And yeah, thank you.